Hello everyone, it's lovely to see you, it's lovely to be here. A big thank you from me to Siva for inviting me to speak, it's a great privilege. And obviously a big thank you to ISFM and International Cat Care just for being there really and for being passionate about cats. So what I want to talk to you about today is pretty much on the theme of Sarah's first presentation, cats and people. But I'm going to ask you to slightly park your intellectual brain. Don't switch it off, just park it to one side. And I want to tap into your emotional brain here, because we're going to be talking about the relationship. So, basically my talk will include the following. I'm going to just reiterate Sarah's fourth pillar in the AAFP ISFM Environmental Needs Guidelines. Then I'm going to talk about preparing cats for being fit for purpose, companion cats for humans. A little bit about the ways we interact with cats, making sure it works for them as well as it works for us. Then I'm going to talk just a little bit about the cat-human bond spectrum, and not focusing too much on this, but basically just alluding to the fact that sometimes it goes wrong. Then back to the positive stuff, getting the relationship right. And then a case study, which is going to be a tricky one because when you come to the sort of cases that I see as a cat behaviour counsellor that are very heavily weighted towards the counselling side of things, it's very much a question of talking heads and meeting on a very sort of relational level. And trying to present that as a case study is going to be tricky, but bear with me and we'll have a go. And then I'm going to talk about some practical tips both for us as humans meeting cats for the first time and also our relationship with cats in veterinary practice as well. So here it is, pillar 4, which Sarah spoke about before. This is number 4, and this is a really important part of the environmental needs, and that is to provide positive, consistent and predictable human-cat social interaction. Now, it may look like that. It may not. Let's see. Okay, if you think about what it is to be human, let's start with that because this is from a knowledge base here. Just the essence of being human, really, I believe, is about in relationship with others. It's about how we are with other people. And I don't know about you, but being human is tricky sometimes because we struggle sometimes in relating to our own species. We can never quite predict what somebody else is thinking. We can never quite accurately predict how they're going to behave or how we're going to communicate with each other. And quite often that communication breaks down. So imagine here we are trying to relate to a completely different species. So that in itself sounds fairly challenging. So are cats like people? I know that some people on some level, and I am probably guilty of this myself, I see my cat Mangus slightly as sort of kind of a little bit human. Now I'm aware of that and I realise it's wrong, but I think when we relate in a human way. So are cats like people? Well, we are a social species, but cats have no biological requirement for social relationships. They can have fantastic social relationships with their own species or with us. But the circumstances have to be right. And Sarah spoke about this earlier. They are solitary predators. They are solitary survivalists. And this sets them just a little bit separate to us. And as a solitary survivalist, it's all about risk assessment. Cats see danger everywhere. They're real pessimists. Something out there is going to kill them. So all the time, their sense of engagement with the environment and with their social interactions is all about, is this dangerous? Is this actually going to do me harm? Because I'm ready if it is. So it's that control freak thing. I need to be in control because there's a lot of danger out there. So it's about controlling the environment. It's about controlling social interaction. As Sarah said so beautifully, cats are control freaks. Now, cats are not pre-programmed to know that it's brilliant living with human beings. We have to teach them that at the right time. And if we do that in the right way and all their associations with humans are positive, then they are ready to be fit for purpose companion animals. They get people. We're a bit odd, but that's okay because I sort of get you and I realise you're safe, and the environment that we live in, again, a bit odd, but I know about it now. I learnt about it at an important time of my life. And that important time is very, very early on. And I just want to talk a little bit about early socialisation. Now, I know that everyone here knows about the importance of early socialisation, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I think if we get this as a mantra in our head, then we know that this is extraordinarily important. And when we think about early socialisation, we're thinking about nature and nurture. And the nature part, let's breed from social, friendly cats. Let's identify the parents that we wish to breed from. Yes, they've really enjoyed being companion cats. That's the key. They've got something out of it too. So let's breed from these cats. So that's the nature part of it. And the nurture part, now this occurs during a very sensitive period in the kitten's developmental process, and that's between 2 and 7 weeks. And this is a time when they are really receptive to learning about their environment and learning about social bonds with their own species and with other species. And this is where we come in. Now, there's been lots of studies into this about how can we ensure that we are giving cats the optimum early socialisation. And the general consensus now is if we actually ensure that kittens from the age of 2 weeks are handled by 4 or more people. 1 doesn't really cut it, because what happens with 1 is the kitten becomes socialised with that 1 individual and doesn't learn to generalise to humans as a sort of species in general. So you get a situation where they're very scared going to their new home and then eventually may just bond with another in the future. So you want that good broad spectrum. You want men, women, children, men with beards, women with glasses, all different types, so that they can learn that humans come in different shapes and sizes and different genders. And also the amount of contact and physical contact and socialisation is also really important. We don't want to spend hours and hours and hours picking up kittens, handling them, fiddling them. This is not going to work for us. There is an optimum level beyond which there really isn't any point in going. And the important thing is that it's positive. This interaction has to be positive at a time when the kitten is really receptive to learning good associations. So about 30 to 60 minutes a day. And that handling is about picking up, holding, talking, touching, doing all the sorts of things that that kitten will have to tolerate and accept as part of a veterinary examination, as part of having its teeth looked at, as part of having a tablet. Wouldn't it be great if every cat in the future we ever met said, tablets, yeah, no problem, put it down there. Wouldn't that be great? Also, as part of that early socialisation, we have to think about other species. Now, what other species would a companion cat possibly have to encounter? I'm not saying all of these necessarily, but dogs, that would be a great one. I don't think there's that many people who actually live with orangutans, but I could be wrong. I don't know. And also social referencing. How does the cat fit in to our domestic environment? And Sarah mentioned this earlier. It's not just about the sights of a domestic home. It's a multi-sensory thing. Yes, we want to get them used to vacuum cleaners, washing machines, cat carriers, litter materials, etc., etc. But we want to get them used to different textures, vibrations in the atmosphere, sounds, and as Sarah so rightly said, smells, the sort of different smells that they will experience in a domestic home, sometimes quite strong smells for a cat's nose. Let's run it by them in a very sensitive, gentle way during this period, certainly not bombarding them with a whole array of things, that's just too overwhelming. And wouldn't it be great if every kitten was used to the concept of car journeys? Can you imagine a load of cat patients coming to your practices completely chilled about the journey there? I'm not saying it's necessarily such a brilliant thing that we can all vacuum our cats, but that particular cat looks like he's quite enjoying it. If cats could speak, and oh my goodness, I've often thought if I had one wish, wouldn't it be great? Although I'm not sure we necessarily want to hear what they had to say, but if they could speak, I think the question I would ask is, what do you want from this relationship? And I think the cat would say, right, this is what I want. I want to, remember control freak, I want to maintain a sense of control of my environment.